Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jennie Montgomery. Thank you for joining me for this live Jennie show as we strive to bring you information relevant to living our lives in the COVID pandemic. And let's all take a breath. 2020 has brought devastating death and disease, lockdowns and sheltering in place, protests and marches over racial injustice, and some that turned into violent demonstrations and looting. And there was a hurricane we about ignored. So take a breath and let's talk. It would be an understatement to say this has been a challenging couple of weeks for our country. Announcing police reform legislation in the Senate Tuesday, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said, in part, "We're still wrestling with America's original sin. We try to get better, but it's perfectly clear we're a long way from the finish line." The question now is, how do we move forward? My first guest today has put a lot of thought into that question, both as a leadership expert and as a person of color, a black man in America who knows from experience how it feels to be judged first by the color of his skin. This is a conversation I'm hesitant to approach, but I know Mike Perry. We respect each other personally and professionally. He was as eager as I was to begin the conversation about race, saying, "Leadership requires that we lean into discomfort because that is where the answers can be found." Dr. Michael Perry is a clinical psychologist and president of Catalyst Human Performance Experts. And first of all, Dr. Perry, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you agreeing to have this conversation with me.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's an important conversation to have, so I really appreciate you taking the time and having me come on.
Well, you facilitated a virtual seminar Thursday, and it was about having these difficult conversations. And one of the things that you said was that this was going to be a safe space for dialogue, ideas, and hope. And I thought it was so significant that you put hope in there.
Yes. Yeah, we thought it's important to communicate a few things because we're entering a time right now. I mean, we talked about COVID-19 and how unprecedented that was. I think the wave of attention and desire to have a dialogue right now around this idea of race is unlike anything certainly I've ever seen, and I would say that we've ever seen in the country. And so safety was important because we wanted to say that out loud, because I know that some people come in and they feel like maybe they'll be attacked or maybe their perspective won't be honored or something like that. So we wanted to send the message that we're going to create space for that to happen. But hope has to be, at the end of the day, there has to be hope. And we've seen more than enough to know that there is hope. If we look around, the fact that people have taken up this issue, not only around the country, but now around the world, is just remarkable to me. So yeah, there is hope. Sure.
You know, I think remarkable is certainly true because it has spread around the globe, and the conditions were right for something like this because we had been in this lockdown. You know, people had just been cooped up for too long, and all the forces were just waiting for something that caused this kind of eruption. And I'm so sorry with what happened with George Floyd, but look at what it did bring out. You know, that's what you're saying. This has been received now in such a different way because it has gotten the world's attention. I think so much about his little girl that I've seen in a soundbite, the little girl who says, "My daddy changed the world." And wow, her daddy's death certainly did open up conversation around the world. The themes that have jumped out to me through all of this, these last couple of really, really hard weeks, are educate yourself, listen, don't offer advice, listen, white privilege, listen. I've learned so much listening to my 3 grown children who are all in their 20s because they speak a different language about this than I do, Michael. They're in a different generation, you know? And I had one daughter who said to me a week ago, she said, "You know, Mom, it really hurts me when I see so many of my black friends putting out, hey, white friends, your silence, I'm noticing your silence." And and she said, I've always felt like I was never invited to the conversation. And now I'm supposed to say something? Well, you know what happened? Over the course of a week, she said, oh my gosh, no one's invited to the conversation. That's what she realized. No one's invited. It's a conversation we're all supposed to have. Is that right? Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I recognize that we're in a time now where people are hearing things, and you hear a lot, wow, I didn't know that. I'm shocked. And I'm hearing a lot of fear and anxiety about having the conversation. And certainly a lot of my friends, family, some of those folks, they're putting out that message like, hey, white friends, we're not hearing from you. Your silence says something. What I'm hearing from some white folks is that, hey, you know what? I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say to you right now. What I don't everything. I may step in it this way. I may step in it that way. And so there's no one has been invited to the conversation. There's been conversations happening, and there's been outcries from time to time. And hey, hear me cry. Hear what I'm saying. And and oftentimes Black people have felt unheard, and so we retreat. Even I personally have retreated. There's so many conversations. I wrote this article recently, and I realized as I'm getting all this feedback, there's so many things that I haven't said out loud, because maybe you say one thing, there's a test, and you put it out there and it's rejected or shot down or not validated, and so you learn, well, some things you just got to keep to yourself and you just deal with it. And over the course of years, what happens when person after person, family after family, generation after generation have these conversations internally that never see the light of day? Well, then you have groups of people who are completely disconnected in ways, even though they've been living side by side every single day.
You're right. You're right. You referenced the article that you've written, and I do have it right here. And we have to take a break right now. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the article that you wrote and how important it is. Our conversation about opening the dialogue on racial injustice continues with Dr. Michael Perry. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Dr. Michael Perry. We're having a tough conversation, a conversation that's hard for people to have about race relations, about racial injustice. And I referenced an article that I had read on LinkedIn that was so poignant. And Dr. Perry, I want to ask you about a couple of things that surprised me so much.
Sure.
The pain that I could hear in your words. You said, actually, I've been tired for decades. To be Black in America is to be subject to unprovoked hatred, disrespect, and harassment from white people on a somewhat routine basis. How routine? It varies by individual. For me, it's about once weekly on average. I was stunned to read that.
Yeah, it is. I thought most people might be, and there's some people who would say, you're doing pretty well, because I would say that once weekly. A lot of people would say that's low, but a lot of times you just learn to kind of move on. You don't even address a lot of things, and so a number of things go unspoken. But sometimes pretty apparent, pretty obvious, offenses that you just learn to tolerate, deal with, and move on. And you also have to teach your children to do the same at some point, which is unfortunate, but it's true.
Well, that brings up another question. It's a talk that people of color have with their children that, I for one, I never had a talk with my kids, my grown son. I never warned him about what to do if he were stopped by the police. I've been so surprised to learn that that's a common conversation.
Yeah, it is a common conversation. Very much. You often hear about people telling their young Black sons about how to behave when the police, if you're ever pulled over by the police. Make sure you don't make any sudden moves. Keep your hands up on the steering wheel where they can be seen, or put them out the window. Speak directly, be respectful. All those things. I mean, there are a number of things that you are trained to do, lest you provoke a situation where you might get hurt or die. And what struck me in recent years is that that conversation is extending to daughters as well, because they're feeling unsafe. A lot of people are feeling unsafe in many cases. And I think it's important to say that, I'm listening to a lot of people talk. I'm listening to news media, and I hear about the one bad apple in terms of police officers. I don't know if it's one bad apple or if there are 20. I know that there are, just as anything else in life, there are two sides to every story. There are a lot of great police officers and institutions. Even our station, or our sheriff's office here in Columbia County, we've had some great interactions with them. But the truth remains that for a lot of people, a lot of black people driving around out there, it's not safe. There are areas of the country that literally, that you don't stop there to get gas. If you're there late at night, lock in on that speed limit, do not deviate. Because if you do, you could be in potential danger if you get pulled over.
This makes me so sad. It makes me feel like I'm watching the movie Green Book.
Mm. Yeah.
That's so sad to me to hear that. But I appreciate you sharing that, because if we don't share those things, if we don't know, then we're not able to change it. If we don't know about it, we can't change it. One of the things that you said too, I want to just bring up, having to listen to people scream all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matters is exhausting. If all lives have equal value, why are people fighting today for rights and treatment that have supposedly been woven into the fabric of our country from the beginning? I think that I heard someone, Van Jones, say, if people could look at Black Lives Matter, if they could look at it and see TOO at the end, Black Lives Matter too, maybe it wouldn't be perceived in the same way, where it always gets that response. Well, all lives matter. It's not just Black Lives Matter, it's all lives matter. I don't know. I wonder how much semantics plays a part in this. I wonder if sometimes, if we said things a little bit differently. The way he explained it is better than I'm explaining it.
Yeah.
But it's a movement that is certainly embraced, and it's through current events, people are understanding that there have been injustices throughout the history of our country.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Van Jones, Van has a point, and by the way, you're doing great, Jenny, breaking it down. But Van has a point, and in terms of communicating, sure, I think we communicate in a number of different ways to ensure the point gets across. So semantics matter, but I think context matters as well. And so I think if we all ask questions first, if you get a reaction to those words, what's my reaction about? Well, all lives matter, right? Okay, fine. Well, why would they say that? Why would they say Black Lives Matter? What about everybody else? And if you ask that question and consider the context under which those words emerged, then it tells a story. And everything is about context and the story that's being told, the origin of things. And so I think those words come from a hurting place, and they actually do mean, yeah, Black Lives Matter too, because it's just been such a difficult journey, even now.
We're running out of time. I do want to say what I appreciate so much about the article that you wrote was your 8-step action plan at the end. And the first thing you said was you want to be sure to speak up, especially to your white friends, and say how you feel. And I think that is so important, because it is keeping the conversation going. And you help people do this. You help people converse through Catalyst. So can you just give me that 45-second elevator pitch about Catalyst before we wrap up?
Let's see if we can do it in 30, Jenny. Really, Catalyst, Human Performance Experts, is about helping leaders to understand the power of relationships and trust. So we try to help to change culture by helping people to have the difficult conversations and to do the hard work that we all came to do, living with a powerful vision and working in purpose. That's what we try to do at Catalyst every day, really trying to help leaders to change their small world, and in doing so, hopefully, collectively change the entire world.
Michael Perry, I appreciate your time so much today. This has been an eye-opening conversation, and I hope we'll have many more.
Thank you, Jenny. I so much appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
I know a lot of you may be interested in talking with Michael Perry about facilitating a conversation at your workplace or your church, wherever. His team at Catalyst is trained in team development and executive coaching to help transform your organization and maximize your effectiveness. You can reach him at 706-862-1208 or email info@connectmovegrow.com. Next on Jennie, crimes against one of our most vulnerable populations. Elder abuse is a serious issue. What to watch for after the break.